You see him sitting on the park bench with his bags. Most people walk by and try not to catch his eye. They see a man who has lost everything he once had. But God sees a warrior. The world calls this a tragedy. Heaven calls it a training ground. Did you catch that? Your situation is not a secret to the Creator. This is not something I made up for a video. This is straight from the heart of the Father. He is not looking away from you. He is looking directly at you. He is a man who knows the weight of the pavement. He is a man who knows the cold of the night. He is a man who knows the silence of the stars. The world says you are invisible. They think you have been discarded. But the Bible tells a different story. It tells the story of a God who loves the wanderer. It tells of a king who had no place to lay his head. Jesus Christ understood exactly what it felt like to be homeless. He spent his ministry moving from house to house. He knew the uncertainty of the next meal. Maybe you have spent your nights listening to the sounds of the city. Maybe you have felt the shame of asking for a cup of water. Maybe you have watched the lights in windows and wondered. Maybe you have tucked your pride into a pocket to survive. Maybe you have cried to a God who feels miles away. This video will change how you see your situation. You are not being punished by God. You are being prepared by Him. There is a specific reason why you are where you are. The pavement is hard, but it is also solid. It is the place where you learn to stand. Let's be very honest with each other. Being without a home is the hardest thing a human can endure. It strips away your privacy. It takes away your dignity in the eyes of men. It makes you feel like a ghost in your own city. But being stripped down is the first step to being built up. In the Bible, the desert was never a destination. It was always a path. Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness. He had no permanent home for 4 decades. He was a wanderer before he was a leader. David lived in caves for years. He was running for his life from a king who hated him. He slept on dirt while a crown waited for him. If you are watching this, you are a survivor. You have seen things that would break most people. You have endured weather that others only watch through a window. That strength is not an accident. God did not let you go through this to destroy you. He let you go through this to make you unbreakable. The Bible says in the book of Matthew, chapter 8, verse 20, Jesus said, "Foxes have holes and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head." Think about that for a second. The King of the universe chose to be homeless. He chose to live without a roof. Why would he do that? He did it so he could meet you right where you are. He knows the street corners. He knows the shelters. He knows the benches. He is not waiting for you to get a house. He is waiting for you to realize He is with you now. Your worth is not found in a mortgage. Your value is not found in a zip code. You are a child of the Most High. Today, we are going to look at 7 things God sees. We are going to uncover the truth about your season. This is not a message of pity. This is a message of power. You are a warrior in a hidden season. The world looks at your bags. God looks at your heart, and what He sees is beautiful. Number 1, the 4 walls around you do not define the spirit within you. This is the foundation we must build on today. Let me say this straight. The world tries to tell you that your value is tied to your address. They think if you do not have a mailbox, you do not have a voice. They look at your shoes and they decide who you are. But the world is often blind to the things that truly matter. You spend your entire day looking for a place to just exist. You walk into a library just to feel the heat on your face. You find a corner in a bus station and try to look busy. You check your reflection in a shop window and look away quickly. You are constantly managing how the world perceives your physical presence. You feel the weight of your belongings on your shoulders every single hour. You have learned to sleep with one eye open for your safety. You know which managers will let you stay and which will call the police. The absence of a key in your pocket feels like a hole in your soul. You start to believe that because you are homeless, you are also worthless. Sound familiar? This is the lie that the enemy wants to plant in your heart. He wants you to believe that God has forgotten your name. He wants you to think that your current struggle is your final identity. But God does not see a homeless person when He looks at you. He sees a person He is currently sustaining with His own hand. The Bible speaks about this very clearly in the book of 1 Kings. We see the prophet Elijah in chapter 17, verse 4. God told him to leave everything and go to a small brook. He had no house. He had no garden. He had no neighbors to help him. He sat by the water and he waited. The text says that God commanded the ravens to feed him there. Think about that for a moment. One of the greatest prophets in history was essentially homeless. He was living in the dirt by a stream of water. He did not have a bed or a roof or a door. He was completely dependent on what God provided. Each morning, Elijah was not in that position because he had failed God. He was in that position because God was hiding him from a wicked king. His homelessness was actually his protection. His lack of a house was the very thing that kept him safe. God was doing a deep work in Elijah while he sat in the wild. Maybe your current season is not a sign of failure either. Maybe God has pulled you away from the systems of this world for a reason. He is teaching you how to hear His voice without the noise of a television. He is showing you how to trust Him for your daily bread. You are learning a level of faith that people in mansions will never know. You know what it means to actually pray for your next meal. You know what it means to thank God for a dry place to stand. That is not a weakness. That is a spiritual strength that is being forged in the fire. The Bible says in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 2 verse 8, He raises the poor from the dust. He lifts the needy from the ash heap. He seats them with princes and has them inherit a throne of honor. Notice where the story starts. It starts in the dust. God does not wait for you to find an apartment before He starts His work. He starts His work while you are still in the dust. He is building a throne for you while you are sleeping on the ground. Your worth is not waiting for you at the end of this season. Your worth is already inside you right now. It was not a lack of favor. It was a season of fire. Number 2, the cold pavement is a temporary altar. It is the place where God meets you in the dark. Let me say this straight. Most people are terrified of the silence you live in every single day. They fill their houses with noise to avoid their own thoughts. They have televisions and radios and phones to drown out the quiet. But you do not have that luxury. You are forced to face the silence every single night. You watch the sun go down with a feeling of deep anxiety. You begin the daily search for a place to rest. You look for a spot that is tucked away from the wind. You find a doorway or a space under a bridge. You spread out your cardboard or your thin blanket. You hear the cars racing by on the highway nearby. You wonder where every person in those cars is going. You imagine them walking into warm kitchens. You think about them sitting down at wooden tables. You feel the chill start at your toes. It moves up your legs and into your chest. The night feels like it will never end. You find yourself talking to the air just to hear a voice. Your thoughts start to loop back to your past. You replay every mistake you have ever made. You think about the people you used to know. You feel the crushing weight of being alone under the stars. You feel like a speck of dust in a vast universe. You have been there. You know the unique fear of the midnight hour. But I want you to hear something important. The silence of the night is not emptiness. It is a divine invitation to listen to a higher frequency. The Bible says, in Psalm chapter 63, verse 6, "I remember you upon my bed. I meditate on you in the night watches." When you are outside, the night watches are not a metaphor. They are your physical reality. You are awake when the rest of the world is dreaming. In those quiet hours, God is not sleeping. He is keeping watch over your spirit. He is listening to the prayers you are too tired to speak. He is counting every tear that falls onto your jacket. He is closer to you in the dark than he ever was in the light. Think about Hagar in the book of Genesis, chapter 16. She was a woman who was cast out into the desert. She had no home to go back to. She was wandering in a dry and lonely place. She thought her story was over in the dirt. She sat by a spring of water and wept. But the angel of the Lord found her right there. He did not find her in a palace. He found her in the wilderness. Hagar gave God a name that no one else had used yet. She called him El Roi. That means, the God who sees me. She found her greatest revelation in her greatest isolation. She realized that she was not just a runaway slave. She was a woman with a destiny. God gave her a promise for her future while she was homeless. He showed her that her son would become a great nation. Your isolation is not a sign that God has left. It is a sign that he has pulled you aside. He wants to show you things he cannot show the comfortable. He wants to whisper secrets that the busy cannot hear. You are in a sacred school of the Spirit. The world sees a man or woman with no place to go. God sees a student in the university of the wilderness. He is sharpening your ears to hear his still, small voice. He is preparing your heart to carry a message of hope. You will one day speak to people who are lost in the dark. You will be able to lead them because you know the way. He saw it. Number 3, the scars of the street are your stripes of honor. They prove you are stronger than you think. Here is what nobody tells you. Most people could not last 48 hours in your shoes. They would crumble under the uncertainty you face every single morning. They would break if they had to carry their whole world in a bag. But you are still here. You are still breathing. You have learned to read the city like a map of survival. You know which alleys are safe and which ones are traps. You have felt the sting of being ignored at a crosswalk. You have watched people pull their children closer as you pass by. You have seen the fear in their eyes and felt it in your gut. You have survived the humiliation of being told to move along. You have sat on a curb until your legs went numb. You have walked until your shoes were nothing but thin rubber and prayer. You know the exact temperature when the air bites your lungs. You know the difference between a kind look and a pitying one. You have mastered the art of being invisible when you need to. You have survived the nights when the wind felt like a weight. You have woken up with frost on your collar and kept going. That is not just survival. That is a level of grit that the world cannot understand. Maybe that is you. The Bible tells us about a man who knew the hard ground very well. His name was Jacob. In the book of Genesis, chapter 32, verse 24, we see him alone. He was a man on the run with nowhere to call home. He had no army and no walls to protect him. He was stuck between where he came from and where he was going. The text says that Jacob wrestled with a man until daybreak. In the middle of his isolation, he got into a fight for his life. He was physically and emotionally at his breaking point. He was tired, and he was hungry, and he was terrified of the future. But in that absolute silence, he found the strength to hold on. He told the angel, "I will not let you go until you bless me." He found his voice when he was at his lowest point. He wrestled with his fear, and he won. By the time the sun came up, Jacob was limping. He carried a physical scar from that night for the rest of his life. But he was no longer just Jacob the wanderer. He was Israel. He was a prince who had power with God. Your time on the street is a long wrestling match. You are wrestling with the urge to give up every single day. You are wrestling with the voices that say you are nothing. You are wrestling with the cold and the hunger and the shame. But like Jacob, you are still standing when the sun comes up. Your struggle is not a sign of your weakness. It is the proof of your endurance. God is using the hard ground to build a hard spirit in you. You are being tempered like steel in the furnace of the city. The strength you are gaining now will sustain you in your next season. You are a survivor of a battle most people never see. Your resilience is the evidence of God's hand on your life. Number 4. Every place you laid your head is recorded in the halls of heaven. This is a truth that will change your perspective. Let's start with the truth no one wants to say out loud. People think you are lost because you have no fixed address. They think you are drifting without a map. They assume that because no one knows where you are, God doesn't either. But the world is wrong. God is the master architect of the brokenhearted. You know the exact texture of the shelter mattress. You know the smell of the plastic cover. You know the sound of 30 other people breathing nearby. You remember the night you slept in your car. Your neck was cramped against the cold glass. You remember the park bench that felt like stone. You remember the bridge that kept the rain off. You have slept in places that people would not believe. Every one of those spots is a coordinate. Every one of those spots is a sacred memory. You feel like a ghost moving through a city. No one knows where you were yesterday. No one cares where you will be tonight. You are a shadow in the corner of the station. You are just a name on a waiting list. You are a number in a cold system. The weight of your backpack is a constant reminder. You carry your life on your own shoulders. You are tired of being moved along by others. You are tired of the constant search for rest. The exhaustion is not just in your muscles. The exhaustion is in your very soul. You feel like a person without a place. You know this feeling. The Bible speaks directly to this in the book of Psalms. Look at Psalm 139, verse 3. It says that God watches your path. It says He watches your lying down. He is acquainted with all your ways. This is not just about your spiritual walk. This is about your physical body in this moment. God knows exactly which sidewalk you are on. He knows the street, name, and the block. He knows the specific number of the bus seat. He is not watching you from a distance. He is standing right there in the alleyway. He is keeping watch while you close your eyes. He is the one who keeps you safe. Think about the man named Job in the Bible. Job was once a man of great wealth. He had a house and a huge family. Then he lost every single thing he owned. He sat in the ashes of his life. He was covered in sores and deep grief. He had no home left to go to. He sat in the dust for 7 days. His friends did not even recognize him there. He was just a man sitting in the dirt. He was at the absolute bottom of human existence. But God was watching that specific ash heap. God was listening to every word Job spoke. The ash heap was not the end of Job. It was the place where God spoke. To him, God did not just give him back a house. He gave him back a double portion of everything. But the miracle started in the dust. The miracle started when Job had nothing left. Your current location is not a sign of neglect. It is the place where God is meeting you. Every night you survived was a miracle of grace. Every morning you woke up was a gift. God is counting the nights you spent alone. He is recording every place you laid your head. He is building a permanent home for your spirit. Your address might change every day on earth, but your place in his heart never moves. Let that sit for a moment. Number 5. The silence of your phone was a divine filter. God cleared the room for a reason. Let's start with the truth no one wants to say out loud. Most people are only your friends when you have a table to sit at. When you have a roof, you have a circle. When you have a kitchen, you have guests. But when the walls come down, the people usually disappear with them. You remember exactly when it started to happen. You remember the day you had to pack your last box. You sent the texts to the people you trusted. You made the calls to the ones you once helped. One by one, the voices on the other end went quiet. They had excuses about their own space. They were busy with their own lives. They were sorry, but they simply could not help you. You watched your social circle shrink in real time. It happened faster than you ever thought possible. You felt the sting of being an embarrassment to old friends. You saw them look away when they saw you in public. You realized that their love was tied to your comfort. You were only valuable to them when you were doing well. Now you are standing on a street corner, alone. It feels like a total rejection of your soul. It feels like a mark of shame on your forehead. But I need you to see this differently. Today, it was not a failure of your character. It was a cleaning of your life. God allowed the silence to happen for your protection. He was filtering out the people who cannot go where you are going. You have seen this happen. The Bible shows to us this clearly in the story of Ruth. Look at the book of Ruth, chapter 2, verse 2. Ruth was a widow in a completely foreign land. She was a stranger with no home of her own. She had no husband to provide a house. She had no father to give her a bed. She went into the fields to pick up leftover grain. In the eyes of the world, she was a beggar. She was a woman who was living on the scraps. She was picking up what the wealthy workers dropped. She was a person at the absolute bottom of the system. She was alone in a field full of strangers. She had left her old country and her old gods behind. She was stripped of everything she once knew as a woman. But God was watching her in that specific field. He had moved her away from her old life for a reason. He had cleared out the people who did not belong in her future. She felt isolated in a field of people who did not know her name. But that isolation was the path to her promotion. That field led her directly to a man named Boaz. That field led her to a new family and a new home. That field eventually led her into the direct bloodline of Jesus Christ. God is doing the exact same thing in your life right now. He is filtering your environment. He is removing the fair-weather friends who would have slowed you down. He is stripping away the people who loved your furniture, but not your heart. He is preparing you for a community that is built on the Spirit. You are learning who is real and who is a shadow. You are learning that God is the only one who stays. When the world walked out, He walked in. The silence of your phone is the space where He speaks. Do not mourn the people who left you in the dark. They were never meant to see your light. It was not a loss of community. It was a gain of clarity. He saw it. Number 6. The perspective you have gained is a gift for the kingdom. You see things others miss. Let's be very clear about the wisdom you have earned. You have a degree in reality that no school can provide. Most people walk through life with their eyes half closed. They are distracted by their own comfort. But you have been forced to see the world as it truly is. You walk through the city and you see everything in high definition. You notice the woman crying on the park bench across the street. You notice the old man who has been sitting too long. You see the waste in the restaurant windows every single night. You see the masks people wear when they go to work. You know that life can change in a single heartbeat. You understand that money is a vapor and comfort is a dream. You have learned that your character is the only thing you own. You have watched the world from the outside looking in. You have seen the greed of the rich and the heart of the poor. You have felt the cold truth that most things are temporary. This knowledge has made you a different kind of person. You are no longer impressed by the things that impress the world. You are looking for something that is real and eternal. You see the beauty in a sunrise that others walk past. You hear the hope in a bird's song in the alley. You notice the small things that others ignore every day. You see the penny on the wet sidewalk near the drain. You see the pigeon looking for a small crumb. You understand the value of a single hour of rest. You have learned that silence is a powerful teacher. You have learned that hunger is a massive motivator. You know that a warm shower is a miracle. You know that a clean shirt is a deep blessing. But you see them as the gifts they truly are. Your heart has been softened by the hard ground. Your spirit has been sharpened by the cold wind. You are becoming a person of deep substance. You are becoming a person who can see the invisible. You see the pain that everyone else chooses to ignore. You have a special set of eyes now. They are the eyes of a person who survived. They are the eyes of a person who walked through fire. You see the world from the bottom up. That is the best way to see the truth. You understand this truth deep in your bones. The Bible speaks to this perspective in the book of James. Look at chapter 2, verse 5. James says, "Listen to me, my beloved brothers and sisters. Has God not chosen those who are poor in the world? He has chosen them to be rich in faith. He has made them heirs of the kingdom He promised." This verse tells us that your lack is a setup. It is a setup for a level of faith others cannot reach. It means your perspective is actually a form of spiritual wealth. Think about Gideon in the book of Judges, chapter 6. He was a man who felt completely hidden and small. He was threshing wheat in a winepress in the dirt. He was doing this to hide from his enemies. He had no home to defend his family. He was living in constant fear and in total lack. But the angel of the Lord appeared to him there. The angel did not see a homeless man or a coward. He called him a mighty warrior of the Lord. He said, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Gideon could not believe his own ears. He looked at his situation and he felt weak. But God looked at his situation and saw great strength. He used Gideon to save an entire nation of people. He used the man who was hiding in the dirt. He used the man who had the least among his tribe. Your perspective from the dirt is not a mistake. It is your greatest asset for your future. You will speak truth to those who are in power. You will bring hope to those who are in the dust. You have the authority because you have the experience. You can lead others because you have walked the path. Your story will be the key to someone else's cage. So the question is not why they look down on you. The question is what God revealed when you were looking up. Number 7. The street is the foundation for your permanent home. Let's be honest. You walk past beautiful houses every single day. You see the fresh paint on the siding. You see the mown grass in the yard. You see the heavy doors and the sturdy locks. You wonder how it feels to belong somewhere. You feel like a wanderer with no foundation. You feel like a person made of straw. But God is doing a renovation inside you. He is tearing down the pride you once had. He is removing the need for human approval. He is stripping away the wallpaper of your old life. He is rebuilding your spirit with something stronger. This construction is happening in the open air. It is happening while you have nothing else. You are learning to find your peace in Him. You are building a prayer life in the rain. You are learning to trust when you are empty. This is the deepest kind of spiritual work. It is easy to trust God in a palace. It is much harder to trust Him on a bench. But the faith you build now is solid. It is like a house built on a rock. You spend your hours waiting for a door to open. You wait for the shelter to call your name. You wait for the social worker to find a bed. The waiting feels like a slow death of hope. But while you wait, God is pouring a foundation. He is making you a person of deep stability. You will not be shaken by the next storm. You have already survived the worst of the weather. You already know. If this is you, the Bible speaks to this in the book of Ephesians. Look at chapter 2, verse 22. It says, "You are being built together for a dwelling." You are becoming a place where God lives by His Spirit. God is moving into your brokenness right now. He is not waiting for a mortgage to be signed. He lives in the heart that depends on Him. Look at Nehemiah in the Bible. He saw the walls of his city in ruins. The gates were burned, and the streets were empty. The people were living in shame and in fear. It looked like a pile of trash and dirt. People laughed at the mess they saw there. They said a fox could knock the walls down. But Nehemiah knew that God works in the rubble. He did not wait for a budget to start. He started building in the middle of the mess. He organized the people while they were still poor. He built a city where there was only dust. He turned a pile of stones into a fortress. God is doing that with your life today. He is taking the ruins of your situation. He is building a temple out of your testimony. The time you spent without a roof is not wasted. It is the material God is using for your future. You were not lost in the system of man. You were found in the heart of God. And those are not the same thing. You came to this video feeling like a mistake. You thought your life was a series of failures. You believed that the absence of a roof meant the absence of God. But the Holy Spirit is saying something else today. He says you are a masterpiece in progress. A masterpiece does not look good in the middle. It looks like a mess of paint and dust. But the artist knows what he is doing. He is not finished with your story. You were not abandoned by your Creator. You were being forged for a high purpose. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are a victor over the darkness. The world sees a belled person who has fallen. God sees a person who is rising. He is not looking at what you lost. He is looking at what you have gained. You have gained a strength that cannot be bought. You have gained a faith that cannot be shaken. You have gained a heart that truly knows God. I want to talk to you directly right now. I am talking to the man on the park bench. I am talking to the woman in the shelter bed. I am talking to the person in the car. God is in the seat next to you. He is sitting on the bench with you. He is standing in the line with you. He knows the specific color of your bag. He knows the name of the street corner. He sees the way your heart aches at night. He is not ashamed of where you sleep. He is proud of how you survive. You have walked through the valley of the shadow of death, and you did not fear because he was with you. You have endured the rejection of your own people, and you found a friend who sticks closer than a brother. You have felt the sting of hunger in your stomach, and you found the bread of life in your spirit. You are a walking miracle of divine preservation. Most people would have given up a long time ago, but you kept walking because he kept calling. Today is the day you stop looking down. Today is the day you start looking up. Your worth was never determined by your walls. Your value was never tied to your bank account. You are a child of the Most High God. You are an heir to a kingdom that is eternal. The street was just a season of training. The lack was just a season of learning. The isolation was just a season of listening. Now you are ready for what is next. You are going to walk into your next season with power. You will speak with a voice that carries authority. You will love with a heart that has been refined. You will lead with a spirit that has been tested. The world will not recognize the person you are becoming. They will see the light and wonder where it came from. You will tell them it came from the dark nights. You will tell them it came from the hard ground. You will tell them it came from the God who sees. You were never meant to be defined by who stayed. You were meant to be refined by who left. You were never meant to be measured by a house. You were meant to be treasured by a father. Your address may be temporary on this earth, but your place in the family of God is permanent. You are a warrior of the pavement. You are a survivor of the storm. You are a chosen vessel of the King. You are a warrior. You are seen. You are loved.